Mike Sharman, please keep quiet. We're rolling now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Quiet on set.
What is a goal? Sure, there's that. But in the context of this episode, I'm talking about it more being the object of someone's ambition or effort, a desired result or aim. So when we started the Retroactive Agency, our goal was pretty simple: to be the number one, the biggest, the best advertising and marketing agency for sport in all of Africa.
And of course, the world!
Well, eventually. Jeez, it's very ambitious. But why this goal? And why any goal, really? Roger Federer over here is going to tell you why.
Well, without goals, what's the point really? If you aren't working towards something or going somewhere, how are you truly going to achieve anything? You're just filling time.
Correct. We've all filled time at some stage of our lives. I mean, it is one way of going about things, I guess. In my 20s, I was just a DJ. I played house music. I partied. That's all I did. But you've got to want more, because ultimately there always is more if you apply yourself.
But goals have to be right for you, as well as attainable. As much as we'd love Retroactive to be the superstar, global, international, award-winning agency straight off the bat, the reality is that that is going to take time. So we have to set smaller, attainable goals in the initial phases.
Short-term goals are really important then, and this applies too in the lives of sports stars.
So even though the main goal when I got inspired by that 1995 World Cup group was to one day become a Springbok, one day play a couple of test matches for South Africa, I think when I was able to play my first game as an under-14 G scrum half at King Edward's and enjoy the beauty of playing sport, it sort of instilled a different type of perception that to be able to get better, I needed to put certain goals in place. So short-term goals at that point in my career, where I couldn't pass with my left hand, where I didn't really understand the game properly, where I potentially maybe had to eat a little bit more to bulk up, sort of progressed through going from under 14 Gs to having a goal of, one day maybe trying to get to the under 14 Bs or the under 14 As. And then when you got to the under 14 Bs or under 14 As, that I thought, well, if I'm really going to do this, I need to try it, make the first team at King Edward's. And then when I made the first team, it wasn't about, okay, now I've just made the first team. How hard am I going to push to try and make the Lions Craven Week side? And even though I didn't make the Lions Craven Week A side, I made the 15th hole. And that then sort of gave me this idea, well, I'm sort of good enough, and I have to push to try and get into the Lions and 19th side. And as those goals continually increased, the main prize was always one day to become a Springbok. That main goal never dissipated, but along the journey being able to then say, what's the next measure, what's the next goal that you're putting in place, and what's the long-term goal? When I played my first test for the Springboks, it was, yes, this is great, but I don't just want to be a one-hit wonder, flash in the pan. I wanted to then play 2 tests, 3 tests, and once I played 10 tests, I wanted to get to 25 to 50. I wanted to be a part of a World Cup. I wanted to be a part of a Lions series, a team that wins a Tri-Nation. So yes, goals are important. And I think like in business and like in any sphere of life, you need to set yourselves clear, defined goals of what you want to achieve. I'm pretty fortunate that I was able to reach many of those goals from a rugby perspective, but now in the transition period, it's about trying to attain different goals and sitting down, chatting with the family, being at-home dad when I am there, setting goals from a business perspective to achieve things in the long run, making the transition period as successful as possible. What does that mean, but how do you define those goals is unbelievably important. So goal setting, whether in sport, whether in business, it's always got to be there.
Although, what's your goal?
My eventual goal is to do Ironman 70.3, but my immediate goal is to beat Dan Nicol at the Gululi's 5 kilometer park run. Not get eaten by a dog.
Come on, guys. To see how Hobbo gets on in his race against Dan Nicol, watch this week's episode of the Biogen Journey. If you're watching on YouTube, it's the link below. Otherwise, catch you back next week for another episode of the Sport Is series. Ciao.